Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Empower Your Mind for Success podcast, a podcast for anyone who wants to build an entrepreneurial mindset. So, something interesting happened today on the dinner table. My family and I were having dinner, and one thing led to the other. But the discussion started off by, how we can help people in need, and are we doing enough charitable work? Are we donating money to the right causes? And me and both me and my wife told our children, yes, we are donating money to several causes. And one thing led to the other, and the discussion was, it is good because many corporations, large rich people do that because they can save money through tax deductions, and that is what rich people do. They try to save money through tax deductions, and that is why they donate money. It's not because they are good or nice people. And that's where I interjected and kind of disagreed with my daughters, and I was telling them that that's not the case, that rich people are not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. Actually, they are kind people. Most of them are. There are always exceptions, but most of them are kind, and most of them want to help people. And I would rather be rich and help others rather than not being in a financial situation to do so. And I kind of told my daughters to think about it from another perspective, right? I asked them to consider, does it matter for someone in need of how they got the money or who gave the money, as long as they got the money, right? They don't care if someone is trying to donate money for saving taxes, or they're doing it from the goodness of their heart. People in third world countries are grateful that they have a job to do, because rich people in rich countries are setting up plants and factories no matter how bad the working conditions are. Now, this is a very slippery slope, right? I'm not encouraging or saying that sweatshops are encouraged and child labor is good, but is it better for someone to find a fair livelihood to make money from, or for people to die on the streets hungry? Something to think about, right? I mean, people may sway with their opinion one way or the other. It is a very difficult conversation to have, and I think that is exactly where the point led to, because then my elder daughter spoke about the backfire effect, and just to make sure everybody's on the same page, what backfire effect says, that when you present someone with facts and figures about a topic that is contrary to their belief system or what they strongly believe in, no matter how scientific your evidence is, no matter how truthful your facts and figures are, the other person will find ways of not believing the science that you're presenting or the evidence that you're presenting, and their belief in what they think about grows even stronger, and you cannot end up convincing them or swaying them from their point. And that's the backfire effect. So when people's belief systems are very strong on certain topics, they will not believe no matter what you tell them. So, one of the very popular examples was about President Barack Obama. There was a lot of questions around whether President Barack Obama was born in the United States or not. And later in 2011, his birth certificate was presented, and there was enough evidence to demonstrate that, he was born in the US. But people who didn't believe this point to begin with looked at the birth certificate and found various ways to identify flaws in the birth certificate, right? And people did not want to believe even then of whether he was born in the US or not. The other thing could be with President Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. scandal, right? People who believed in Bill Clinton did not want to believe or did not believe no matter what Monica Lewinsky said, and people who did not believe in Bill Clinton completely agreed with what Monica Lewinsky has to say. So there are always people who have their own belief systems, and they do not tend to believe even though the right facts and figures are presented. Actually, there's a lot of research done around the backfire effect, where universities have conducted research around where they publish fake news on one day about a topic, and then the next day they present a contrary article on that same topic which is truthful, right? So the people who would read the fake news first and kind of tend to agree with would dismiss the truthful article that is published the next day. So the backfire effect is a very interesting phenomena, but it all boils down to a simple concept. Are people, or is someone open-minded enough to step back from the subject matter and evaluate how that person himself or herself is considering or looking at the piece of information? I mean, are you observing yourself in a third party to understand about your own belief system? And it's not easy. It's a tough thing. But my point to my daughters was that, you have to be open-minded enough to look at both points of view. I'm not saying whether your point of view is wrong or right. That is not the point. The point is, are you open-minded enough to take a look at both sides of the coin or all aspects of the story before you form your own belief, whether you agree with something or not. Now, if there are topics that you really don't care about, you can be objective. But when there are topics which you are very, very opinionated about, or when you believe that you are absolutely right on a certain topic, it is very difficult to change your mind or to convince you any other way. And I guess that is why they say, like-minded people attract like-minded people, right? Like themselves, right? And I think that is one of the reasons, because it's very difficult to convince someone, no matter how correct your point of view is, because you're, at the end of the day, your belief system is arguing with their belief system, and that's when it becomes personal, and people in the heat of the moment, don't realize who's right, who's wrong, and actually they don't care as long as they very strongly believe that they are right. But the end point is, guys, why I'm sharing this is because as entrepreneurs, it is very important for us to be open-minded to receive information, and to receive information in such a way that we can then figure out how you want to move forward with that piece of information. Now, you may not believe or agree with that piece of information, and I think that is why your personality test or your personality type is a very good piece of information for you to have as a weapon to understand your own idiosyncrasies, your own strengths and your weaknesses, right? That is good to understand about yourself, so that you can then objectively kind of look at yourself, how well you are receiving or not receiving a piece of information. But you may not believe something, but that doesn't mean what the other person is saying is not correct. So then at that point in time, the question is, are you open-minded enough to look at the result that person has achieved, as opposed to, whether what he's saying is true or false. See, if as long as the other person who's trying to help you with your goals of financial freedom, and as long as that person can demonstrate ways that are legal and ethical of achieving wealth and becoming financially free, then I would definitely be open-minded to hear what that person has to say. Now, he might be doing business in an area which you do not believe in at all because you personally had a bad experience, or you have seen a close relative or a close friend who has had a bad experience in that business. Now, nobody can force you to make a decision. The question, however, is though, as times change and as technologies evolve, does the business opportunity become more attractive or not? Does the business opportunity, will that business opportunity, no matter how bad of an experience you have had with that opportunity a few weeks ago, months ago, or years ago, will that business opportunity under the right guidance of a mentor will allow you to achieve your financial freedom? So from an entrepreneurial mindset perspective, I believe the more open-minded you are, the better it is. Now, being open-minded doesn't mean that you dabble a lot in multiple things. You still have to be focused on your goal. You don't have to be completely focused on how you get to your goal, because how your plan, the technologies, the ways of doing it will evolve and continue to evolve, right? So you have to choose something carefully and try to stick with it as long as you believe that the right technology, the right mentor, the right ways exist for you to achieve it. And again, that is why it's an entrepreneurial roller coaster. That is why not all entrepreneurs succeed. That is why a lot of people give up because they don't have the right entrepreneurial mindset, which is to be open-minded and try different things and fail sooner so that you learn faster, right? People with an employee mindset, this is where they struggle. Failure is not considered a good thing in most cases. You don't have too many lives to make mistakes, and very soon the person may get fired from that job. But something to think about, guys. I thought it was a very interesting discussion we had on the dinner table. I wanted to share that with you about the backfire effect, about being open-minded, and how that relates to an entrepreneur's mindset, and how you may want to think about it. As long as you're open-minded for your sake, for your goal's sake, for your financial freedom's sake, I think you will be on the right path. I hope this helps. If it does, if it resonates with you, please share it with someone who you believe will receive the same value that you did from this podcast. Maybe this will help them, reaffirm their belief in their dreams and goals, no matter what other people around them say. Remember, you have unlimited potential. Own it. Until next time, take care.